What's up, everybody? Welcome to our top 5 things to do in Hue.
This place is an ancient city full of history and culture, things to see and do. We can't wait to show you around.
Let's go.
Let's go. We're currently visiting the royal palaces of Hue. It's 150,000 Vietnamese dong per adult. Otherwise, you can get the packages that lets you visit either 2 or 3 tombs. So for the 2 tombs plus visiting the Imperial Palace, it's 280,000 Vietnamese dong. Otherwise, for the final package, it's 360,000 Vietnamese dong. We've gone for the package 2. The Imperial City is located in the central of Hue, and this royal palace served the Nguyen dynasty and the last king of Vietnam. So for most of the parts, you're okay to wear pretty much whatever you want, but in the more solemn places, you do have to cover up your knees, your arms, your chest, and your back, that sort of thing. So unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to go inside one of those. It's quite amazing to think that this place used to house craft makers, weapon makers, and even the kings and the emperors themselves in these quarters. The citadel is square in shape. It covers an area of over 500 hectares and there are 10 different entrances. It truly is a massive place. The Imperial Palaces of Hue are the most well-preserved in Vietnam. Its symmetry and picturesque design can be credited to the strict feng shui principles that were followed during construction. That brings us to the end of this Imperial Palace tour. You could easily spend a couple of hours here. There's so much history, so much to see and explore. Definitely come check it out if you're here in Hue. Another thing to do in Hue is come visit the Dong Ba market. It spans over 16,000 kilometers. This market is the oldest of its kind in Hue. There are hundreds of stalls and they sell everything from household items to handicrafts and fresh produce. Of course, you can also get food here too. That is a lot of rice. There are so many alleyways in this place. Heaps of twists and turns, lots of sights and smells. It's a bit overwhelming. There are 2 floors to this market. It seems like food is mostly at the bottom along with all the other produce, and you've got clothing and fabrics, bags, everything else up here on the 2nd floor. So we've just spent some time walking around Dong Ba market, and like a lot of Vietnam, it seems quite chaotic, but it's sort of organized chaos, if that makes sense. Let's head over to our next spot. We're currently here at the Perfume River, and this river spans approximately 80 kilometers in length. You can either take a stroll down it or have a boat ride, which is what we're going to do now. Perfume River was given its name over 100 years ago by the locals. This was due to flowers that would fall from the orchards from the upstream of the river and carry its scent down the river. So apparently you can only smell it more during the autumn months, which we've just missed unfortunately, but let's try anyway. I can't really smell anything. The autumn months are between September to November here in Vietnam.
Yen and I did a bunch of research to find the best way to get around to see all the different attractions in Hue. We found that Hue private tours was definitely one of the top ways to get the best value for money. It was only 300,000 dong for both of us, which included a basic lunch as well. And we also got the dragon boat ride included. The attractions you do have to pay for yourself, but we've already paid for that the day before we went to the Imperial Palace.
Most of Hue's iconic attractions and temples run alongside the river, such as Emperor Ming Mang's tomb, Thien Mu Pagoda, and the Imperial City, making this a must-see attraction.
Right now we're here in one of the most holy sites here in Hue, the Thien Mu Pagoda. Legend has it that a heavenly woman once appeared here and said that a local lord would build a pagoda right in this spot. Lord Nguyen heard of this legend and he came over here and built the pagoda himself. He built it first and then his successors added on additions to this pagoda. For those venturing to Thien Mu from the main town centre by car, it will take you around 13 minutes or 20 minutes via scooter. So the interesting thing about Thien Mu Pagoda is that even though this place was built hundreds of years ago, there's still 70 monks that live here full time and pray and worship. It's an amazing place, definitely another one that you're going to have to see if you're in Hue. The final thing that you need to check out in Hue are the emperor's tombs, starting with Ming Mang was famous for being a staunch Confucian, and he also ruled during the apex of the Nguyen Empire. Ming Mang's reign lasted from 1820 until 1840, and unfortunately this place wasn't complete on the time of his passing, so it was up to his son to finish the task. And it took 10,000 artisans and craftsmen to actually build this entire place. An interesting thing about these gates in particular is the center gate was only opened once when the emperor passed, and then the side gate is what everyone else uses, including royalty, to get in here. So behind me right there is Ming Mang's tomb. It's protected by 285 meters of wall, and his tomb is actually in a little palace right in the middle. Another factor about this tomb is that it offers a really good balance of both landscaping and architecture. Next up, we're going to check out Khai Din's tomb.
We're here at Emperor Khai Din's tomb, and this is probably the most unique of the royal tombs. While others were expansive in size, this emperor built his to be very monumental. Emperor Khai Din's tomb is the most modern amongst the royal tombs. He used concrete and wrought iron to give it that grey, imposing feel. He even wired electricity through it, which was a first for tomb designs in Hue. The tomb began construction in 1920 and took 11 years to complete. Unfortunately, the emperor passed away in 1925, so his son, the successor and the final emperor of Vietnam, had to complete it. And that took him 6 more years, so finishing it in 1931. So unlike a lot of the other emperors, we actually know where this particular emperor was buried, and that's 9 meters below ground, underneath his monument. Now, something really interesting about this place is that the ceiling was painted by a very famous artist at the time, and he did all these 9 dragons on the ceiling by foot. So it was said that whenever the emperor visited the tomb, everyone had to stop and greet him, except for this famous artist. He claimed that if he had to stop and greet him each time that the emperor came, then he would never finish his amazing work. And so thankfully, the emperor forgave him for that instead of beheading him. Emperor Khai Din was unfortunately not so beloved by his people. He was kind of known as the French puppet during the time of their reign in everything but name, and he even raised taxes for the Vietnamese peasants by 30% just so he could build this tomb of his. So that brings us to a wrap of top things to do in Hue. If you enjoyed this episode, we hope that you'll support our channel by giving us those likes, leave us a comment below, and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll catch you next episode.